get it. What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? What's going down, man? Apologize for the delay. You know what I'm saying? I had to get some things together, but it is what it is. It's still going to be Sauce Stir, better late than never. You know what I mean? It's Wink Wednesday, so y'all already know what's going down tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have plenty to motherfucking me talk about. I'm going to let y'all get up in here, let y'all slide. I see a couple folks got up in here early. I see King Folk, Alpha X, Seth Clark. Brandon, what's the motherfucking deal?
What's going on, everybody?
So let's see. There we go. And right there.
Welcome to another edition of Wink Wednesday, man. Shit, we appreciate all y'all boys coming through as usual.
Yes, yeah. Jose, what's the motherfucking deal? Anthony, what's the motherfucking deal? Malix, what's the motherfucking deal? So y'all know how we start this thing off, man. Let's get the roll call out there. So if you are from Houston, shout out your side. If you're not from the city, make sure you shout out, your city, town, your state, whatever you want to represent, however you get down, however you want to be associated, you know what I'm saying? So we can show y'all a little bit of love. It's all love around here. Boy, Malik say shout out to Wink already. You say Pasadena, South Carolina. DeAndre Hamby, what's the deal? Eastside Harold, what's the motherfucking deal?
Man, Malik's first time I'm seeing you, bro. Shit, I got the chat on today. I'll be able to see some of y'all comments, man. Shout out to you, bro. Make sure you hit that channel. If you feel you like, what we got to say tonight on Wink Wednesday, shit, go to Third Coast Sports TV. Welcome to Third Coast Sports TV too. And I'll be doing live streams coming tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week.
Already. We'll have to see what's shaking on that one, because we might have to end up doing a round table. We might have a special round table coming this Friday, so we'll see what's shaking up. But we'll make something shake. I'm going to holler at you on that one. You say Malik, I pronounced it correctly, unlike most people. Okay. My fault, but that's what's up. Sometimes I get lucky. I see Robbie G. I see Ed Man. What's the motherfucking deal? I see some more. Who else? I don't want to leave y'all out. I passed a couple of y'all. College Station in the mix. Humble in the mix. The boy Jack Triple. He got all the hoes, man. Threes coming.
Yeah, I see Jack Triple, man. Shout out to Jack Triple. Shout out to Jose Batista. Shout out to John Bryan, El Lobo, Ed Man, Byron Hollis, Dalton Crocker, Ron Rob. You already know what it is.
Already Dalton Crosby. I know about Crosby, man. Crosby in the mix. G-Town in the mix. Already. Joe, what's the motherfucking deal? Okay, I see. Yeah, look, y'all making some Clemson connections out there. Alpine, Texas at the Double Diamond Ranch, man. Okay. What's going down at the Double Diamond, man? You know that ranch life be something special. So man, we gonna get into a couple of things tonight, man. We got a few things to splash a little bit of flavor on. We gonna talk a little rock. We gonna talk a little Astros. We don't talk a lot of Astros that much. We gonna talk a little bit on them, but then we gonna mainly get into Texans and some things that's going on with the Senior Bowl, some of the talent out there, what's going on with the coaching staff, and most importantly, is Mike Vrabel trying to poach some coaches? Is he on some hoe shit? What's up, Unique? What's the motherfucking deal? The Rockets game boring. What? I thought you was about to say, it said you was about to hit the streets. I misread that. It said hit the streets.
Yeah,
I thought it said hit the streets.
I saw that too. What's going on, Unique?
You got chillings to count. So let's see what's good, man. You say glad Vrabel is gone. Cornell get that defense. Yeah, all that shit's gonna shake, man. All that shit gonna shake. So let's like I said, let's get into a little bit of Rockets and Stros talk. First, we're gonna get into the Stros because, like I say, we just put a little bit of flavor on that. I know some people had mentioned it about the guy that ended up getting banned, getting the motherfucking 100 fucking game suspension. And the reason he got 100 game suspension, he was I want to say a double A guy for the Rockets, and this was his third offense. You know what I'm saying? The first time he tested positive, he was acquired by the Astros in 2011. First time he tested positive was in June of 2012. Then backdoored in December of 2012 and got a second positive. But this is for weed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even for like PEDs or nothing. And so he just got his third positive. I want to say down in not Corpus Christi, but one of these double A teams. But the funny thing about this shit, the most coincidental thing I should say about this shit is he played 420 games in the majors. So 420 games, and you done got your ass 3 times suspended for weed. You just need to leave it all alone.
420.
I know how I feel about the weed. I ain't knocking the weed, man. I ain't mad. But he said, he had some drinking issues. He was trying to supplement it with the weed and vice versa, some other things like that. John Singleton was his name. And then another guy on the Rockets, the AAA team in Corpus, got busted 80 games for PEDs, and I think that might have been, I don't know if that was his first offense or what, but of course PEDs are way more serious. Dean Dietz, it was his name. But that's all the Astros I got for y'all. Like I say, I ain't got too much for y'all. We're gonna work on getting some better talk for y'all about the Stros. But I want to talk a little bit about Chris Paul getting snubbed from the motherfucking AllStar game, man.
What?
Yeah, Chris
They
Paul.
They predict that this early?
No, it's over. The voting's over with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They don't. They always do the All-Star game in February. I'm tripping.
Yeah, and so have you ever watched Kelly Bryant? No, I haven't paid too much attention to Kelly Bryant.
Have y'all noticed every single time the All-Star game came to Houston, everybody around the world always raves about it? Like, it's always the livest when it comes to that.
Because, see, as I'm telling you, people be thinking they're going to come to Houston and, like I say, see a bunch of farms and some shit. I don't know what they expect. Like, I really don't know what the
they have no earthly idea.
Yeah, and like I say, so they expect somebody, they get down and they say, oh, it's really going down. It's actually space to walk and move around.
Just like they say at the beginning of that Devin song, Too Cute. This is Houston? Oh, this is H-Town. I didn't know it was like this. It's like crazy. And King Focus, what's going on, boy? Man, you remember that song too?
Yeah, that was the shit.
To the extreme.
Man, that to the extreme. That's up close for one of my favorite. That to the extreme was just that whole was press play all the way, man. But like I said, yeah, man, it's pretty fucked up, and I want to know how y'all feel about CP3 getting snubbed, man. I know that the Warriors end up getting 4 guys on the fucking shit. They end up getting Draymond, Clay, of course, Curry and Durant. And Curry is like one of the team captains or some shit like that. But ain't no way, and this is why I say that I was talking about it earlier. I blame this shit on the national media. You know what I'm saying? Because most people only get that casual shit. You know what I'm saying? And where they get their casual shit from is from like ESPN and watching shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of really getting to see the games. These games ain't on national television. A lot of this shit don't get played around. They just catch their highlights from ESPN. And ESPN don't ever show Houston no love. Like I say, we just beat the Warriors for the second time. And they barely showed highlights. They talking about, all the stuff Stephen and Katie, they almost had a 14. Well, they ain't get the motherfucking streak. We beat their motherfucking ass twice. Like, why y'all still talking? Like, take note to the fact this is the number 1 and number 2 team in the West. And y'all telling me y'all don't have a story there? Y'all telling me y'all ain't seeing, so it's only a 3-game difference. You know what I'm saying? But
the Rockets and Golden State are the story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of anything LeBron doing with Cleveland, and you mean it to, and the only let's just be real, Honcho. The only reason why he got snubbed was because of the month he missed. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, and if it wasn't for, I want to say, Harden just missing his little time, and don't think that little streak of games that we was just missing, because people was thinking we was fugazi after that. People thought it was a fluke for Houston, after that shit, because I was seeing the reports, even though I ain't been keeping up with a lot of Rockets, you know what I'm saying, bro? It's like that's been pretty much the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that, but nobody talks about the fact that when Paul, Capella, and Harden on the court at the same time, we unstoppable. Yeah. Like, nobody talks about the fact that, bro, this is by far the most dynamic trio on the court right now playing, and they just blowing teams out. They winning at a high rate. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Exactly. Like, I'm looking at it right now, just catching the update on this fucking Dallas. They up by damn near 20 now. Like I say, they let motherfuckers get it. They play. It's like they really play when they want to get serious. They're like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and tighten up, and because these niggas getting a little too close, let's go ahead and seal the deal. And that's how they handle it. Like I say, people don't account for Luke Muthaf, how important he was to that defense, because ever since he's come back, it's like that defense didn't turn it back up a notch, because they were top 5 at one point, and then like once he got hurt, that shit started to decline. But with him not being a big name, a lot of people didn't account for him, but shit, he plays almost just as good a defense as Ariza. So you talking about having a guy who can almost defend as well as Ariza, so that gives Ariza the chance to get a break, because Ariza will play the whole damn game. He don't really give a shit. He'll play you a solid 45, and not trip on it. So when you bring the guys like him back, you allow PJ Tucker to get back comfortable, and if Ryan Anderson could just show a little bit of something, which he's been lately, you know what I'm saying? But it's just okay. It is what it is. But talking about CP3 though, you're talking about a guy who's averaging 9 assists and some change, 9.2 assists, I think, 19, almost damn to 20 points a game. And he basically led the team for a little while Harden was out. And he was playing solid basketball. He had some injuries to deal with that too. So you know, like I say, they don't really account for what's going on. The only thing they're gonna talk about if any of the Warriors go down, well, like we played the other, well, Iguodala, you know, he's not here tonight, and I don't give a fuck. We talking about Ariza. Ariza's a fucking starter, dog. Like he wasn't playing tonight, but y'all don't talk about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, they look for a way to make this narrative, and that's why I say I at first I used to think I was just being paranoid, like I was just tripping, like they just, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, well Houston, we are middle of the pack right now. Okay, I ain't expecting them to just give us a whole lot of love. That was in years past, but these last few years, man.
Yeah, and that's like three. That I wouldn't even say we haven't really been middle of the pack for the last 3 years. We've been a top team the last 3 years. And people act like we wasn't just at the damn conference finals like 2 years ago. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. But you would see, you know, some people say, okay, it's a fluke, but the fact that there's just as much consistency here in being a top team in the West, you know what I'm saying, a top 3 team in the West, as Golden State has been, you know, a top team in the West. So like I say, we're in contention. You've seen other teams rise and fall, or you see other teams fall, you know what I'm saying? But the Rockets have stayed relatively steady, even with the pieces that have changed, with Dwight leaving, with, you know, CP3 coming, and everybody talking, it ain't going to work with him. Even last year, when there was nobody on this rock, and when people said the Rockets won't even make the fucking playoffs, you're talking about James Harden is an MVP candidate again this year, several years prior, even the year that they didn't want to consider him an MVP candidate, he was still putting up similar type numbers, maybe 2 or 3 points less. But as far
the
as
bench has been considerably consistent over the last 3 years as well. Yeah. We're not gonna act like we haven't had dudes in the past like Brewer and Ariza and all of these dudes, and then, you know, when Beverly's healthy, what he's been able to do for us, you know what I'm saying? Nene, you know what I'm saying? Especially like Nene last year was killing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, man, give these dudes their credit. But one thing right before I say, because I saw El Lobo said something, bro, if you haven't, I mean, if you don't know that Texas is a red state, like we've been a red state since I've been alive. I'm 32 years old. It was never blue. Houston is, but Houston is because you know it is what it is. And you know, I seen him say something about you know, with Chip Kelly, but I'll talk about that once we venture on into the Texan side. Y'all might as well hold off on y'all Texans questions as of now, because we're gonna have to address something, and you know, to you guys, you know what I'm saying, in terms of people who want to get on, you know, with roundtables and stuff like that. But we're gonna finish the Rockets talk first.
Man, Kemah first have to get a Rockets hell of love all the time, and Booker's the big man. Booker, but what is Phoenix's record right now? Ain't Phoenix because I mean, we blew Phoenix out the water, though. I remember when we played. Phoenix wasn't looking too hot. But what I'm saying is, I didn't realize how much better CP3 is than Paul George, our GMSB. Man, look, here's the thing, though. You would like to have both of them if you could have got both of them. You know what I mean? It's just Paul George he's a beast too, but it's just the situation he's in right there. That's Russell's team, so you got to defer to Russell. But trust me, Paul George won't up and out of fucking OKC. He don't want to deal with that shit. He is not enjoying playing with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. They may be winning and shit may be getting done. They're starting to get some shit going, but he's not enjoying that. And if them motherfuckers, they going to get that first round exit, and especially if they don't do it, he's going to be on the first thing smoking the fucking L.A. or wherever else he can get that's going to be in contention. He's not
OKC starting to play better?
They've been playing a little bit better, but like I said, I still think they're still like a 5th or 6th seed, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Golden State, the Rockets, the Spurs, then you got the T-Wolves, and then I'm not sure who all. It's like a bunch of teams within like a game of each other, game and a half for that 5th through 8th seed. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, you could say you're in the playoffs, but like I say, you could be 1 or 2 games and shit you right back up out there, bitch. That's how close it is at the bottom of the West right now.
Yeah.
Let me see. So Houston's still more conservative than LA and Cali in general. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was just reading that too. Yeah. Well, of course, because you like California's always been more of an emancipated sort of state. Like you can be free in California. California's always been ahead of its time when it comes to how they treat people, you know, in terms of shit that they want to do, you know, especially in terms of the marijuana. We owe all that to them, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for marijuana in Denver and, you know, Colorado and places like that, you know what I'm saying? I just seen it. I forgot what state it was. It just got Vermont. Vermont just declared they're the 9th state to say that that weed is legal and all of that little stuff. I just seen that in a report the other day. But mean, back to these Rockets, man. That's just how they treat us, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, since the glory days, we haven't really gotten to shine. I mean, I could say we were really getting some shine when T Mac was there, but I hated. Like, let me know how you feel, bro. Cause the other day I was listening on the Sports 610 radio, and they saying if you could bring any coach back during the Rockets tenure, who would you bring back? And when Seth Payne said Jeff Van Gundy, I was like, nigga, you tripping? He would never be here. He would never come back here. People would embrace Rudy T all over again because he's the only one who brought championships here. Yeah, he was an alcoholic. Yeah, so what? Who cares, bro? Rudy T was cool. The players loved him. The city loved Rudy Tomjanovich, bro. I loved Rudy T. He was my favorite coach then. Yeah, hey. Rudy T was that dude, bro. I don't care, bro.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion. Hey, Rudy T got his face busted, but that boy still was about that action. I fuck with Rudy T, man. I don't even know. Hold on. Let me correct what I'm gonna say. I like Jeff Van Gundy, the commentator, but Jeff Van Gundy, the coach.
As a coach, no,
I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like Jeff Van Gundy has an African.
Steve Francis.
Oh man.
Yeah, I hate how he did Steve Francis. And I don't. Yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm not sure if you can see this, Honcho, on the stream. It is spinning a little bit. And somebody just said it's like it was lagging. Yeah. Like it's time. I mean, it's caught back up and everything now. But it was just something. I don't know. You might want to check your levels. Just make sure connection speed and everything is just going on. Just something to keep your eye on.
Yeah. The shit is on the green for me, so I'm trying to see what's on. If it's something.
It's not doing it now. Okay. It's not doing it now, but it was about a minute and a half ago.
Okay. But yeah, man, I want to jump on that what you were saying though about the because man, that was actually a very good point that he had said about speaking about us being such a conservative state, and that's something I did not take into mind because the media is very liberal. You know what I mean? It is like I said, more so than I really realized. And so especially when you talk about stuff like ESPN, they've gone very liberal. They've gotten rid of a lot of people. They've kind of tried to change with the times and things.
Right.
That honestly could be something, man. And that's something I kind of want to look more into. So I'm gonna look into that and some other things, and maybe I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research to see what's going on with that. You might be on to something. That's a very, very good point. That
and I see what Jose is saying about Max Kellerman. I see him say that like twice now. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge it. Yeah, Max been giving shine to Houston, like, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does that. Like, Max is not like Stephen A. Smith and a lot of these other analysts, you know what I'm saying? He pretty much give credit where, credit is due. Sometimes on this little boxing, in terms of who he ranks as top pound for pound fighter, sometimes it's questionable when he have dude like Triple G and Lomachenko and number one, I can question that, but it is what it is, in that area. But, we all know other fighters are way better, but we'll probably say that for later on in the podcast or whatever.
There's going to be some more action to talk about on that. Man, Kellerman, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Max Kellerman rap at one time?
Yeah, he did. Man. He did. Way before he came out. Way before he did anything. Way before he started his boxing analysis and everything. He used to rap.
If y'all haven't seen that, that's y'all sauce homework. Go check out, after the stream, go check out Max Kellerman rap. Go YouTube that shit, Max Kellerman rapping. That shit'll be some entertainment for you. So if you ain't never seen that, now you know something new. But let's start getting into the shit, because like I say, we finna let's dive into some of this Texas action. There's actually a lot of little small stories that could develop into big stories of things that have been going on. So first, let's just get into the hot topic, and then we'll kind of speak on some other things that we can kind of venture into with a little bit more detail. But the hot topic really is this. We all know that the former defensive coordinator for the Texans, Mr. Mike Vrabel, recently departed to the other side of the division, to Meth Mountain, to go fuck with the Meth Mountain Maniacs, a.k.a. the Tennessee Titans. And he's made some statements, and quite a few statements. And so we're going to talk about some of these statements, and then we're going to talk about some of his actions that he's doing, and possibly trying to poach some coaches from the Houston Texans. But first, I want to know, Wink, how you felt about some of the statements he made in his interview when he said, let's go with the first one, when he basically was talking about the Texans were afraid when it came to basically game planning for Mariota. How do you feel that how does that reflect on Mike Vrabel, in your opinion?
Man, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and address that. For one, to sit here and say that Mariota instills fear in anybody when he's 13 for 15 touchdowns to interception ratio, and we're supposed to be afraid of him just because he has some athletic ability that he doesn't even always use. And the fact that his coaching system and his offensive coordinator hindered him ever since they've been with the Tennessee Titans, and now we're supposed to be afraid of you. Come on, that's absolutely ridiculous. So, two, you don't have the requisite weapons to win games as an offense. And number three, the only reason you were winning games was because of Dick LeBeau, who's out of the building right now. So the fact that you have all of these things and you have Marcus Mediocre throwing the ball, and he couldn't even throw a touchdown against us. He has one touchdown and one win against us, and throughout his whole career, he has never finished the game other than the last game in Week 14 when they beat us, and that was that was more of a garbage time win considering the play clock and how much time was left, and we didn't have any timeouts, and we had just given them the ball back after not being able to convert. So for their revenge, for them order to feel better about themselves because they're dickless, that they want to go ahead and they want to throw a 75-yard halfback flip play, you know what I'm saying, which was a beautifully designed play, but we weren't even really playing at the end of the game, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody's really ready for that, then you go ahead and you game plan that a whole lot better. But that's whatever. That's neither here nor there. The fact that he thinks that somebody it's no wonder that he couldn't lure guys like Steve Ryan and Pat O'Hara to his organization to become OCs and coach up Marcus Mariota for his franchise as his new tenure of being a head coach. And the fact that you do something as egregious as fire Dick LeBeau, because it's nobody you're going to bring on the open market, not even Jack Del Rio, not anybody like that, who are going to be able to come to the Tennessee Titans, implement mentality than the one that he was just giving them. Because this year and last year, they were actually notable in terms of defense. They were actually beating some good teams. You know what I'm saying? It's not like as Texans fans, we didn't see that they were beating some good teams out here. If you really want to make an argument, they were beating better teams than we were, but we were smashing them every time. So exactly. What difference does it make? I was going back and forth with Titans fans in another video on Sports Fan Entertainment's page a couple of days ago, still getting notifications to this day. Yeah. And dudes are really making a case for Mike Vrabel and his mishaps. And I'm like, bro, it's no way that, and they keep talking about the personnel and the defense and the corners was trash, bro. These same corners were on the team last year, with the exception of Boye, who was a free agent who walked because he wanted to go home and play in front of his home fans. Yeah. That's number one, and that counts for any athlete. If you could go home and go play, you're going to play at a much higher level because you got more to prove and you have your family there and people watched you play in that state. So people already know how you were scouted. Number two, how are you going to sit here and make a case and say that we were afraid of Marcus Mariota when he's never won against us? It makes absolutely no sense. And the fact that he gets hurt trying to run in a touchdown, he tries to be a tough guy, come in at the game, and his coaching staff didn't want him to come back in. And for him to say that the game would have been a hell of a lot different, and Sports Fan Entertainment said this as well, MJ said this as well, that the game would have been a hell of a lot closer had he stayed in the game, which it wasn't because it was already out of hand and he had already thrown 2 picks before, and he only had 98 yards passing before he even came. Matter of fact, the only reason their rushing totals were even good, but they forget about how we were dominating against their run game. Yeah. About how Andre Hal and everybody was having a field day on them, and you mean to tell me it's no way that in the second half, because we turned it up in the second half against them?
That's what I'm saying. That's like I say, and I see Jose. I see what you're saying that as a coach, he's supposed to say it, and he's entitled to say that to his new team. You're supposed to get them believing in you, but we also have the right as commentators on this topic to speak how we feel, and we know he lied to the people. You know what I'm saying? I even had a Titans fan hit me on Twitter because I posted on there. I say, man, it's cool that you hyping up your new team, but then I put a gif of old buddy that why you always lying, and so I put a little picture of him on there. I even had Titans fans come and retweet the shit talking about I'm mad that he is lying on the first day. They were saying some of the same shit. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the damn thing.
Because
the score indicated otherwise.
Yeah.
And if it was not for Marcus Mariota's legs and catching Jadeveon Clowney off that one play, what did we have to be scared of? At the end of the day, it didn't matter who the quarterback was. People acted like the game was 30-14 before the half was out. It was no way you were gonna come back. Okay, at the very most, you probably would have scored one more touchdown. At very most, that's or maybe a couple, or you would have gotten field goal range a couple of times and probably got the most. I'm willing to spot them in that game, even if he is in the game the entire time. Was the highest I'm giving is 21-57, and you still getting smashed by 30+ points.
Yeah,
so I mean, take it however you want.
Yeah,
but
that's what I say. But my thing is this: as a Titans fan, I would be cautious. I'd be a little bit worried because you can't expect, like I say, what you saw from Deshaun Watson alone. You saw it as a Titans fan, what you saw watching your game against Deshaun Watson. If the Tennessee Titans, if the Texans were quote unquote afraid of Mariota, what are the Tennessee Titans going to be? What are you going to be as a Tennessee Titan against Deshaun Watson, dog? Because we're talking about a guy who was significantly better than Mariota already as a rookie. And
you got to, and even from a free agency standpoint, we're going to get better just by that because we're going to be able to get somebody who's better than the talent that we got now. They finally got to put people in the right position to be. Because honestly, even with the same line that we have right now, if you would have swapped Jeff Allen and you would have swapped Xavier Su'a-Filo, I guarantee you, and you put Davenport in right tackle, you still have Nick Morneau. You could even take Xavier Su'a-Filo out of the equation and put Greg Mance at left guard with Quisenberry at left tackle. That's a recipe for success. Yeah. I would feel so. Or you could even go as far as even Derek Newton's coming back, bump him in the right guard. You know what I'm saying? On top of adding a few other pieces that we're gonna add, because people forget we got money too in free agency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we still got draft picks. We got a lot of draft picks for the third round. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, with the third and fourth round, we're going to have to make a shake because if we don't, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm not trusting Brian Gaine to get it done the way that Rick Smith did in the later rounds and then undrafted free agents, but we're going to have to sit and wait and see, Who knows if a trade can happen? Crazier things have happened in the free season franchise. Shit, us going up to go get Deshaun Watson last year was one of them. Yeah. So I hope we can continue the trend.
Mm-hmm. So like I say, man, talking about Brian Gaine, and like I said, we're going to talk a few things about Brian Gaine, but Brian Gaine actually made his first official move as a general manager. And that was going and picking up a kid off of waivers. Monte something. I think I wrote it down around here somewhere. I don't know.
He's a receiver that used to play with Clowney and Rock Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came out of South Carolina. I had it over here somewhere. Yeah. And Monte Crockett, that's his name. But they said he's supposed to be quick. Said that he ran a 4.39 at his pro day, and then said I ran a 4.3 at the regional combine. Interesting thing about him, he's a guy that you got, like I say, that Wendell Williams speed, but a little bit taller. You know what I'm saying?
Wendell Williams ran a 4.19 though.
Oh, yeah, the 4.19. It was a damn. I was trying to remember
4.19.
4.19. Okay, well, you got a guy who ain't quite Wendell Williams, but a speedy guy with a little bit of height on him. You know what I'm saying?
He's still very much Will Fuller though.
Yeah, exactly. About the same height, and but like I say, you got to look at that. Are you wondering if the Texans are considering Will Fuller to be injury prone? Or you wondering, because like I say, they're still talking about getting more explosive talent, and you would think, okay, well, Hop, that's unquestionable. You ain't got to worry about that. We already know that he is the best of the best. Motherfuckers was questioning whether he was a top 5 or if he was elite this year. National media talking about, is Hopkins, he's the highest paid, but is he really an elite receiver? That motherfucker shut all that talk down. Ain't nobody can question that shit. But that kind of makes you wonder, do you think that they are either gonna, maybe move on from Ellington or Miller, or what do you think that looking at some of these other receivers, or you think they're just looking at bodies to maybe have a look at it, Kim?
I think it's kind of in playing into what he said he wanted. He said he wanted explosive athletes, and at the end of the day, that's what you want. That's what you need. You need explosive athletes who can make plays, who can do their job. At the end of the day, we don't need to bring anybody in here who's mediocre at doing their job. We need good role players. We need dudes who can execute, and we need dudes that make shit happen when their number is called. You know what I'm saying? That's why DeAndre Hopkins is as good as he is, because when his answer is called, he shows up. And I see Jose Rueda saying, we might as well go ahead and get this out of the way, because I see he's saying something about trying to get on live because he got some stuff he want to say. Well, you go ahead and you put out the stipulations of how he can get on the round table.
This works, and this works for everybody. Like I say, what it is, man, with the Texas round table. We have another chat that we kind of just let everybody get into, but then we have one where it's more specific with channels, because like I say, not only me, it's not about me, it's about all of us trying to help each other grow what we trying to get going. And this for everybody putting in work, talking Texas, talking H-Town, whatever it may be. So our stipulations, our requirements for that are that you have to start a channel to be in that specific chat. That's what the actual round table is about. So that way, you're just giving a chance for people to see, what everybody's talking about, giving people a platform to speak on. Like I said, I know a lot of people have a lot of good things that they want to say, that they want to speak on. But at this point, if y'all have noticed that I have not been calling it the Houston Homer channel, it's the Sauce Sports Network, because it's about networking. It's about trying to get people who are trying to do some things out there. So like I say, that's why the stipulations, the requirements are, start a channel, drop you some videos, and like I say, we're gonna show you some love. We're gonna talk about it. That's the whole point of it. And then we'll check that out. And then you're more than welcome to get on live. If you somebody that already has a channel, and I may have just overlooked it, because there's actually a couple other channels I've just come across, I want to say the last week, but I haven't had a chance to reach out to the guys, but they were speaking some other good stuff. But if you've put in that work, man, like I say, we more than welcome to come to the round table. You more than welcome to put your opinions in, because that's what it's about. Like I said, giving people a chance to see what you have to say,
And you also have to be a subscriber for 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you make your videos, you have to make sense. You can't just throw out any dumbass logic and just say what you want and just think that people go. You actually have to make sense. I know a lot of people get on Darren even and say, hey, they don't always agree with Darren, but Darren also has a lot of good taste. He puts out a lot of good information, and he put himself on the line versus everybody who wants to sit in the comment section and criticize him. Yeah, true enough. Yeah, we get who doesn't give Darren a hard time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Darren put himself out there, and at the end of the day, he's growing because he took the initiative to go ahead and talk Texans. He's been around for quite some time now, regardless of how many subscribers it may say that he has on his channel. At the end of the day, he has a perspective. People come through, they see what he got to say. He agrees with people, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, he shows respect to people who show respect back to him. So, that's what we all do. Yeah, true. Everybody clowns on Darren. Yeah. But he deserves it sometimes. But it is what it is.
But at the same time, he putting in his work, like you said. He laying his foundation. He putting his work out there. You know what I'm saying? And that's more than you can say for a lot of people. It's easy, like you say. It's easy to sit in the comment section and clown. It's easy to cap. You know what I'm saying? But it take a little bit of nuts to put yourself out there, and and stand on your own comments. So that's kind of what this is about.
If you've been thinking about doing channels, because I thought about this for a long time, and then my backbreaker was that damn Seattle game, and I made a rage video. And for my first video, it got like 200 some likes. You know what I'm saying? 130, 100 something likes, something like that. And you know what I'm saying? Well, views, not likes. But it's like, man, I put that video out. People who didn't check it out on my other channel, the Third Coast Sports TV, the main channel, they came back. They gave me some positive feedback about that video. They say they loved it. You know what I'm saying? And then people to this day still telling me. I want to say Robbie G or somebody told me they watched that video recently, and they still shouting it out to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's this, it is what it is. I understand Jose been in the chat. He been talking hella shit. He been trying to get his points across. But at the end of the day, makes sense. Be respectful, because we see the disrespect and all the stuff that gets said, and we see how emotional dudes get in the chat too. So you got to take that into consideration. Nothing that we say in the round table is an emotional argument. Nobody uses no emotions whatsoever. And we may disagree, certain things you can come around to, because there's plenty of fans that's right here in this damn chat that's right now that's listening to me, looking at my face on this shit. And when I first said the notion of trading JJ Watt, dudes was talking about, man, you crazy. But the moment I started making sense about it, now even Honcho was kind of on the fence about it at first. He wasn't even too reluctant at it. And then he was like, man, you know what, bro? That'd be the best move that we can make. You know what I'm saying? And I see Ray Ray in here.
Yeah.
I see Ray Ray. Shout out to Ray Ray, man.
But yeah, I have been on you for a minute about making that channel though, Jose. So get on that shit, man. Like I say, because the thing is, what you got to think about too is especially if you feel like you have opinions that vary from a lot of people. People need to hear your version of your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the best way to get that shit heard. But that's a bit, man. Hit the books. I know you got to do some stand-up stuff, Jose. You got that stand-up comedy career, low key. You don't want to tell nobody about it, but whenever the Netflix special come out, I'm gonna check that shit out. But that's what's happening. But yeah, but like we're saying,
and I appreciate it, Alex.
But like we're saying though, about Gain and that being his first move. How do you feel about it? You were saying, about him going out and saying he's making some moves on explosive guys and things like that. So you like I say, but you think this guy here, like I say, because he was with the Jags until that Steelers game, I believe, and then they let him go to pick up a extra linebacker. I believe that's what it was. And he spent a little time, I think, with the Packers initially. But like I say, do you see him just being a body though in the long run, or do you feel like he may actually be somebody who can come in and compete?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's playing with Deshaun Watson, so that's a recipe for success right there. You know what I'm saying? It's not a coincidence that he had the least amount of drops in the league of every single quarterback, and that includes Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. He had 4 drops from receivers this entire season while he played in those 6.5 games. And that's probably one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive thing that he's done besides put on a good show and play better, much better, at an even higher level against the better teams. It's just a shame that Bill O'Brien didn't trust them enough to close the game out. But to your question, I feel I mean, as long as we put these dudes in their right position, as I said a little bit earlier, man, dudes can be successful. I think if you give dudes time and we keep trading away talent that hasn't developed, and a lot of people shit on Xavier Su'a-Filo, but I'm pretty sure if Xavier Su'a-Filo leaves this team and he becomes a good player, it's not going to be because, he had to take, it's just that we're going to be real. If you really know about O-linemen, a lot of O-linemen don't typically develop until after 4 years. I know Ray Ray's in here. He's gonna have something to say, but he should know this. You know what I'm saying? I know he's not oblivious to what I'm talking about, and I can understand from a technique perspective. I know exactly what he hates about him. What every Texans fan hates about him. But I'm not gonna act like he doesn't have good traits as well. But back to the to the receiver, man. Hey, it strictly it depends on is he receptive to coaching. Can he practice, because Bill O'Brien cares a little bit too much about practice than he cares about actual athletes making an impact on the game. And that's what I can say has hindered him, because everybody doesn't seem to know what he was thinking when he let go of Akeem Hunt this past season. Like, what sense did that make? You know what I'm saying? True enough. Yeah, I like Tyler Ervin, and Tyler Ervin was making an impact in the game from when he was available to play, and when he would make plays. He was converting third downs. We was flexing him out and using him in various ways. So it's all dependent upon the scheme, but you can't throw too much at these dudes. Just make sure that they can do their job, make sure that they have the fundamentals, to make sure that they work on everything that they need to be successful, and they will be. Yeah. And, that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking about that, talking about, make sure they're doing the basics, not overcoaching and doing all that, the Texans are currently fucking around at the Senior Bowl coaching the South squad.
Yeah.
Do you feel if there are, if any, what benefits will that provide the Texans coaching staff?
It provides every single benefit that you can hope for. Only the sorriest teams get to go, and you actually and make sure you make note. I see Joe Batista's making a question for us. I'll answer as soon as we get through. But back to your question, as far as the Senior Bowl, man. Bill O'Brien and everybody being able to go out here with the scouting department, the GM, and they getting to look at these dudes. They get to see exactly what length. They get to see exactly how explosive these dudes are. They get to see their mentality. They get to see if they really are tough and how they play against the top competition on the team. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you get the better athletes on your team who can actually play. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, at first. A couple of weeks ago, when I heard this, when I got the notification on my phone, I was like, man, what the fuck? Why is he going there? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's trash. Like, well, I don't want him to go to the Sea. But the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? It's not such a bad idea that he's going, especially considering the fact that we don't get any picks until the third round. And who's to say what's going to end up happening? We don't know. We don't know what can happen under this new GM. So I'm keeping all of my options open. You know what I'm saying? It's some stuff that's a little bit more realistic and a lot of stuff that isn't realistic. You know, dudes is talking about all kind of dumbass trades, especially when we was in the round table chat. You know, the ones that just pretty much had everybody. Dudes was suggesting some crazy shit in there. Don't even get me started on that. But it was just like, you know, I mean, it's the best thing for the Texans, considering the Texans and the Broncos, if we're being real, because they're getting the first hand on top of they already, and they're going to scout them even further when they go to the combine. You know what I'm saying? They're still going to do all their due diligence, but the fact that they get to see firsthand what's going on is actually an amazing feat, man. And at the end of the day, Bill O'Brien needs to do something with it, because it's a shame. It would be a shame for him to really whiff on major talent that we could get. And we're seeing all of these prospects coming out, and he undervalues or overvalues somebody who can't contribute to the team right away, because we need that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I say, basically, it's kind of answering what Joe was saying. He was asking, you know, do we feel like it's invaluable to the coaches because, you know, it's almost kind of like an all-star game and they're not going to be playing at full speed. But it's more so the practice that you're going to be paying attention to because, what was it, 104.97?
Yeah, I see that too.
And, but, you know what I'm saying? It's the practice is what you're going to see, because you're going to get hands-on. You're going to see a lot of these guys going against, you know, guys that are supposed to be more talented players going against each other. So, you know, that gives you a better look at what some of these guys may be doing against some of the better talent in the league. Now, of course, it's not the same thing, because, you know, the best of the best, they ain't doing no Senior Bowl. They ain't doing no nothing. They finna get drafted. They finna go to the league and do their thing.
Right.
But you're talking about veteran guys who are talented, and you want to see what they're working with. You know, you're going to see some of the top players in the country. A lot of these guys are later round picks, like you said, and having a chance to get hands-on with them and kind of see what other teams won't get to see. You'll get some private intel for yourself. It was talking about earlier that Brian Game, you know, he was paying close attention to the one-on-ones, and that's a very important thing because, like I said, especially talking about one-on-one on the line, because shit, in the trenches is where you eat. And he said, you know, basically the trenches was the second thing in his philosophy as far as what he's looking for. He said, you know, first thing was quarterback, and we got that. You know, you're going to make sure you want somebody to back that up. But you know, his next thing was in the trenches. And so I'm glad that he's taking a look at that, and hopefully that we can find some talent. I saw somebody ask about Shaquem Griffin. I don't see him dropping, if one-handed or not. That motherfucker's been balling his motherfucking ass off. Somebody going to take a flyer on him because the kid can play. So I don't expect that to happen. Like a lot of these big names, get that shit out of your wishing basket. You know, I see a lot of people talking about, you know, Minka Fitzpatrick and some of these other people. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, if the guy that you're looking at doesn't have late second round to third round talent, stop looking. If he's not predicted to go there, you might as well stop looking at him. Like, your best bets are late second round.
Honcho, let me cut in just for a second. Yeah. No, we can't say that.
Yeah.
Because Jalen Strong was considered a first-round talent that slipped all the way to the third round. Yeah. There are a lot of first-round talents, a lot of first, second-round talents, and we're talking top of the first round. You know, top 15, top, you know, somewhere in that area, late first rounders that slipped to the man. Hey, because Lewis Nix was considered a first-round talent by lots of people, and for him to come, true enough, he didn't work out for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, we cannot sit here and act like he was not a heavily touted prospect when it came. So you don't know how these other teams, how they really feel about these dudes, man. Because there's certain situations that contribute to these dudes dropping. And it was no reason for Zach Cunningham to drop the way that he did when he did. Dudes was taking all sorts of middle linebackers and outside linebackers before they took Zach Cunningham. And he was every time I seen linebacker prospects, when I went back and I go look at the tape of who they were putting as heavily touted linebacker prospects, he was always in the mix. He was either 1, 2. Nope, he was never past 3.
Yeah.
Ever. He was never past that. And Ray shit was good. And at the end of the day, with the type of analysis, man, I'll be taking a lot of notes, and I'll probably next year I'll probably start drafting. Going more and delving more into it. It's a little late, you know what I'm saying. I know exactly what to look for in terms of talent, but I can't sit here and say that I'm really up on game on a lot of these dudes that y'all talking about in the draft. I will be once I know who's all come out, once I start seeing tapes, once I start hearing names, and when I start seeing people suggesting who we should if we couldn't get, because I know exactly what positions that I would want to draft in the thing. I can talk about that, but I can't specifically talk about the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I in terms of the skill set, I would be able to vouch on that. But that's about it.
Okay. So y'all know how it goes, man. Like I say, we've been getting to the point where we're trying to keep a little bit of time on the flavor. Try not to go past too much more past 45. We're getting close to that, but we still got one more thing to talk about. And so as we talking about this, I want to make sure we get that roll call out there. So make sure we get the end of the stream roll call going. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all slide by Stay Saucy. Make sure y'all stay tuned. We're going to have a round table on Friday. Make sure y'all hit the links in the description below because it's podcast action, you know what I'm saying, on iTunes, Google Play, all that other good shit. But while we getting all that shit going, I want to talk about Vrabel and the coach poaching. I wanted to touch on that a little bit because what they're saying is that he's trying to get Anthony Weaver, the D-line coach, and that he's trying to get another guy, I want to say Bowen, who's an assistant coach. So how do you feel about that? I mean, because that basically, to me, what he's saying is that Vrabel's going to go to the Titans. He's going to be the Titans DC and head coach is what I'm assuming if he's getting rid of Dick LeBeau. And
that's what I'm. If he's saying that, look out for deep. Well, I can't. You know what? The front seven that they have is going to be better, but they're going to be older. Yeah, he's going to have Jarrell Casey, but he's still going to have Avery Williamson and Wesley Woodyard and a couple other guys who are above average players, but they're not explosive. They're still not going to be able to provide you a hell of a lot of pass rush. They were a healthy team for the most part over the course of the past 2 years, and they haven't been heavily touted as a good pass rushing team. Yeah, they offer a lot in the run game in terms of run defense, which is something that's the only thing that Mike Vrabel is going to be able to contribute to this team. So at the end of the day, that's how dudes like Kevin Byard, Logan Ryan are going to end up suffering at the hands of Mike Vrabel taking over if that ends up being the case. Because if he has somebody that he appoints to the offense and he's going to take over the defense and get us another shot because he couldn't get it done with the Texans, then this is definitely a roof of disaster. And I'm going to have my popcorn ready every week. And I'm going to watch their games every week just so I can prove and I can throw it in their face and take notes. And I'm not saying he's not going to have some good games here and there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, oh my Jesus. Like they're going to end up regretting the hell of a lot saying. I'll give it halfway before the season before they call him for his job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And what were you saying about Anthony Weaver? I heard you saying something.
That's who he's trying to poach. That's one of the coaches he's trying to get to slide out to Tennessee.
Oh, no. Anthony Weaver got to stay here. Anthony Weaver has done a tremendous job for us. Only him and Bill Kolar, and I hated when we let Bill Kolar go. I hated that. But Anthony Weaver has stepped in and done a tremendous job with the Houston Texans since he's been here.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And who else did you say he was trying to pull away?
I want to say a position like a defensive assistant. I want to say Bowen. I don't even think I wrote his name down. Like I said, I just passed by it earlier. I don't think I wrote it down, but I remember it was two names. I remember Weaver, but Weaver is with the Texans at the Senior Bowl right now. So hopefully, he committed to that program and not trying to jump ship and then do some other shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I saw Braylon Reed said something about they are interviewing for the DC position in Tennessee. But I mean, that don't mean just because they are interviewing, they might not find nobody they like. And don't be surprised he don't try to do it himself. But they could be just doing that for
O'Brien. He could pull O'Brien, and I think one of the things that we didn't touch that me and you were talking about before we actually started to stream, and in terms of the Mike Vrabel situation, is how he was just shitting on Bill O'Brien. He was like, "Man, I didn't like the way that Bill O'Brien was coaching."
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, that's the.
He said a couple of things.
That's
he talked
a telltale sign, man.
Yeah, the other thing he said that was kind of interesting was when he talked about basically how important it is for a coach and a GM to be on the same page, and that makes me feel like there were some things going on with the Texans that like I said, Texas try to be like the Patriots with all that secretism and shit. But when he
Right.
kind of touched on that a bit, and to me, like shit, well, you just now becoming a head coach. It's your first experience, your first go around. You must have seen some things because you haven't experienced those things because you haven't been coaching that long.
Yeah.
So you had to have seen some things with Rick and
Right.
and Bill that just weren't copacetic. So like I say, I think there was a lot more turmoil going on with the Texans in that front office and that whole. I'm not just blaming that on Rick, but with Bill, Rick in that situation, even with Bob and there and all. I think there was a
So the
lot more
lot
going
deeper.
on than what
I
people are
think
letting
it
out.
delved a whole lot deeper than just that because I think it was really more Bill because at the end of the day he wanted the power. Now he's got it, and you can tell that he really pushed the envelope because if that wasn't the case, Brian Game wouldn't have been here as fast as he was.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we hired somebody in 10 days, and the fact that the Titans fired Malarkey and they fired Vrabel within 5 days of releasing Malarkey is absolutely ridiculous. They have far less patience than we did.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it's absolutely ridiculous that you would even sit here and even put that in the, feed that in the motion. I really think because of his attitude, the way that he wants to run shit because he thinks that he's Bill Belichick and he's not. No one, the only coaches in this league who even closer, who even Bill Belichick status, and they're not even truly there, is Tomlin, um, Pete Carroll, and and Sean Payton. Those are the only three. Those are the only other three great coaches that I can see who have sustained success for long periods of time. Who are always in conversations. New Orleans. Recently because they had been out of contention for the last couple of years because
Mm-hmm.
their defense was so trash. But now they turning the corner. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're getting a hell of a lot better. They got a younger team now. You know what I'm saying? So they really gonna be able to push and have a say in the NFC South for the next couple of years, at least until they find a replacement for Drew Brees, because
Yeah.
they honestly need to be on the lookout for that next year
Mm-hmm.
if they put their thinking cap on.
Yeah. Because eventually Breeze will break. He's still balling, but you only gonna get
Right.
so much of that. Okay, we're gonna get one last question. I saw one last question. Somebody had a question for him. I'm gonna ask you that one. Then we're gonna get up out of here. I think they said, Wink.
Okay.
Do you think that we can beat the Eagles next season?
Man, it's so crazy. We've never beat them. We never beat the Vikings our entire tenure. We've
Really?
never beat them. And no, we haven't. And we play them in Philly next year because they came to Houston last time and come
Mm-hmm.
play us.
Mm-hmm.
Hostile.
That was that
It's
game
gonna
when
be a
everybody
good
got hurt. Huh?
game.
That when they came to Philly, that's when
Yeah.
everybody got hurt. I think was when Miko got hurt. A bunch of people got hurt because that fucking raggedy ass turf we had. Everybody was just fucking falling out and
Right.
shit. Okay,
Right.
so you say you think it'll be a good
Man,
one?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's not that we haven't beat a Jim Schwartz led defense before, you know what I'm saying? But Jim Schwartz didn't have this amount of talent that he has on Philly right now. But he has some good schemes, man. There's a lot of shit that we're gonna take over. I'm gonna tell you right now, if we lose that game, it's gonna be solely on Bill O'Brien taking the ball out of Deshaun Watson's hands again. Mark my words. If that's the reason we win, if the reason we don't win critical games, vital games, that we are in the game to win, because this is going to continue on. Bill O'Brien has been doing the shit that I've been complaining about since y'all been seeing me on these discussions when it comes to the tie. He's been doing this since week 5, 2014. And it's only carried over as long as we've gotten better quarterbacks because in 2014, he was taking the ball out of Arian Foster's hands. You know what I'm saying? So now that we got another guy, and I honestly think Mike Vrabel had a serious problem of being put on the responsibility being put on him when we were in games to win, and he knows his defense was gassed. He knew that the defense was getting lit up, and you mean to tell me you're not gonna go for it to win the game when we see we got a young quarterback who's able to get it done, and he has the requisite weapons to win the game, but because because your testicles are not the right size. You know what I'm saying? You don't possess them when you really need them, and because I can see Mike Vrabel having a serious problem with that. And you know what? If that's a problem that he had with Bill O'Brien, how can you blame him?
Yeah, I
Why
agree.
would you want to be? Why would you want to be a part of a franchise? And he's been doing this because we can go back and we go look game after game after game after game after game, season for season for season. He's always done this. It just really became apparent because now we have a quarterback who takes us to the future, who's taking us somewhere that we've never had since Warren Moon was in the Houston Oilers uniform.
Okay. Well, like I say, it's gonna be real interesting to see what happens when it all comes down to it. And with Vrabel, it's gonna be real interesting to see what happens with him. I already told y'all how I feel. If he comes in and handles Bill, then y'all already know how I feel about that. Like I said, I'm giving Bill the benefit of the doubt. He's got all the leverage. It ain't no conflicting situation. So if he, you know what I'm saying,
has nobody else to blame.
He has the path of least resistance. You know what I'm saying? So he should be flowing smoothly. The offense should be flowing smoothly. There shouldn't be any problems. But like I said, y'all, man, I appreciate y'all for coming through and fucking with the flavor. Make sure y'all slide by staysaucy.com. Make sure y'all check out Friday. We will be doing a special roundtable. Again, make sure y'all hit the links below. Check out the podcast on iTunes and all that other good stuff. Many platforms, so no excuses. I see y'all asking about a Kush Den. There will be a Kush Den. We'll get it going here in a little bit. Probably not too long. Probably 10 or so at the latest. In that sequel shit, yes, that's almost that time. I don't want to be up too late fucking with y'all. Be having motherfucker. I'm old shit. I gotta get some rest and shit. Fucking with y'all motherfuckers in the Kush Den. But I want to say shout out.
And I see what Jeremiah's saying. I didn't see how he looked at him. Man, if it's any footage of that, I definitely want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you come to my channel and put that in the link or any channel because I definitely want to see that. He's saying that after he lost that Seahawks game, I guess after he took the ball out of his hands, he said that Deshaun Watson was looking at Bill O'Brien real funny. And at the end of the day, I can't blame him. But at the end of the day, why vouch for a coach who's willing to take the ball out your hands when he know and when you know that you a boss? And at the end of the day, you the only reason he has a job.
Yeah, that's what it is though, because that dude Watson is a gamer dog. He won't like you got some motherfuckers don't want the pressure when it come down to it. They want to put it on somebody else. They want to be a part of the win, but they don't want the pressure. Hey, Watson say, man, give me that motherfucking rock. I'm gonna show you how it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like. So, but like I say, man, with that being said, hey Wink, you got anybody you want to holler at before we get up out of here? Anything you want to say to the people?
Man, look, man, shout out to everybody in the chat, man, who showed me and Honcho love once again on Wink Wednesdays, man. I appreciate Honcho, you know what I'm saying, for having me on. You know, like you said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another roundtable on Friday, you know, because Visionary, he wanted to get in. He was on the chat. And, you know, he wanted to go ahead and he wanted to get in on it. You know, I guess he had some things he wanted to go ahead and talk about. Probably a few things that we've already talked about, but you know, he gets to put his perspective on because it seems as, you know, the more people we have in it, you know, it brings a different state of mind, you know, to, you know, to really do the discussion. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, John Bryant, bro, I still ain't got no invite from you. Win 5100, bro. Look me up on Xbox right now. It's really nothing. I'm on Xbox One. So, and Wink 5100 for anybody who want to get served in Madden.
Like I say, so that's what's up, man. Like I said, I just got a very interesting message I have to check out, Kush Den related shit. So we're gonna talk about that. But like I say, man, we're gonna get that. We'll talk about that in the secret chat, Ray. You know, we'll talk about all those things. But like I say, man, with that being said, I appreciate y'all for fucking with the flavor, man. Coming through on another good Sauce Sports. So I don't know how this goes, man. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. But I'm chunking up the deuce. I'm out. Y'all stay saucy.